Welcome to day one of our emotional healing journey. I'm truly honored that you've decided to join us as we begin this transformative process together. Taking the first step towards emotional healing is one of the most courageous things you can do. Healing doesn't just happen overnight, but with every small effort, you begin to pave the way for peace, self-love, and growth. Today we are going to start with the foundation of emotional healing, understanding what emotional healing is and why it is so important in our lives. But before we begin, I'd like to set the tone with a verse from the Quran that reflects the healing nature of Allah's guidance and the importance of peace within our hearts. وَشَفَاءٌ لِمَا فِي الصُّدُورِ وَهُدَى وَرَحْمَةً لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and a cure for what is in the hearts and guidance and mercy for the believers. Naro Gons 1057, the Chenpo Taftons Tendedex, and Daivon Threntu was Sawawa the Bothmo Nivar. This verse reminds us that the Quran, the words of Allah, is a cure for our hearts. Whenever we feel lost or in pain, we can turn to His guidance for healing. Today we'll explore what emotional healing truly means. Emotional healing is not just about forgetting the pain or suppressing our emotions. It is about facing them, acknowledging them, and working through them to find peace. When we don't allow ourselves to heal emotionally, we end up carrying that pain with us, affecting our thoughts, relationships, and the way we see the world. Healing is the process of releasing that emotional baggage so we can move forward with peace and resilience. It's important to understand that emotional healing is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about being patient with yourself and allowing space for growth. It's about forgiving yourself and others, letting go of past hurts, and ultimately making peace with your emotions. To help guide us today, I want to share a beautiful verse from the Quran that encourages us to turn to Allah for support and healing. وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيُكْفِرْ عَنْهُ سَيِّئَاتِهِ وَيُعَظِّمْ لَهُ أَجْرًا. And whoever fears Allah, He will make a way for him to get out from every difficulty, and will expiate for him his sins, and will increase for him his reward. This verse teaches us that when we turn to Allah with sincerity and trust, He will make a way for us to heal, overcome our difficulties, and purify our hearts. Emotional healing is critical because it allows us to release negative emotions that no longer serve us. When we keep holding on to past hurts, we allow them to control us. We may find ourselves repeating patterns in our relationships, suffering from anxiety, or feeling stuck in life. Healing gives us the power to break free from the cycle of pain and emotional distress. It helps us reclaim our sense of inner peace, self-worth, and joy. Without healing, we can't fully experience the beauty of life or the love of others. When we heal emotionally, we align ourselves with Allah's guidance and mercy. We begin to trust in His plan for us, knowing that every hardship has a purpose and that we are never alone. Let me share one more verse from the Quran that emphasizes the importance of emotional healing and seeking peace. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا. For indeed with hardship will be ease. Indeed with hardship will be ease. The Surah Ash-Shar 94, 6-7. This verse is a reminder that no matter how difficult life becomes, ease follows. With emotional healing, we can find that ease, that space of relief, and come out stronger and more connected to our purpose. So how do we begin the process of emotional healing? It starts with self-awareness, acknowledging the emotional wounds we carry and understanding their impact on our lives. Healing also requires self-compassion. Many of us are quick to criticize ourselves for past mistakes or misfortunes. But healing involves being kind to ourselves, forgiving ourselves, and allowing ourselves to be imperfect. Most importantly, healing requires patience. Healing isn't an instant process. There will be days when it feels difficult, and that's okay. The important part is continuing the journey and trusting that each small step is a step toward peace. Let's remember that the Quran provides us with comfort and guidance as we navigate this journey. Allah's SWT tells us, وَمَا أُتِيتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَمَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَمَا عِندَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. And whatever you have been given is but for enjoyment of the worldly life. But what is with Allah is better and more lasting. Surah Ash-Shura 42:36. As we move forward today, I encourage you to remain open to the process of emotional healing. It may not always be easy, but it is a process that will allow you to reclaim peace and joy in your life. Healing is about becoming the best version of yourself, one that is free from past pain and open to the blessings ahead. Let's take the first step together today. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. With Allah's guidance, we can heal, grow, and find peace. This complete section combines reflection, spiritual insights from the Quran, and a discussion on the importance of emotional healing, giving your viewers a sense of comfort and hope. The tilawat beautifully supports the message of healing, peace, and the importance of trusting in Allah during this transformative journey. Emotional healing is a deeply personal process that involves coming to terms with emotional pain, understanding its origins, and finding ways to release it. It is not about forgetting the pain, but about allowing ourselves to feel it fully and then letting go of its hold on us. Many of us go through life carrying emotional wounds, sometimes without even realizing it. These wounds can come from various experiences: childhood trauma, failed relationships, loss, or any form of emotional harm we've experienced throughout our lives. Emotional healing requires us to face these wounds and give ourselves permission to heal. It's about recognizing that we are worthy of peace and that we deserve to live a life free from the emotional burdens of the past. Healing is the process of accepting what has happened, learning from it, and transforming it into a source of strength rather than weakness. When we heal emotionally, we are no longer defined by the pain. We become free to live fully in the present, embracing the future with hope. Why should we prioritize emotional healing? Simply put, emotional wounds that are left unaddressed will affect every aspect of our lives, our thoughts, relationships, actions, and even our physical health. The longer we carry unhealed wounds, the more they affect how we show up in the world. Unhealed emotional wounds create stress, anxiety, and depression. They affect how we see ourselves, how we interact with others, and how we experience life. These unresolved feelings manifest in different ways: unhealthy coping mechanisms, toxic relationships, and even self-sabotaging behaviors. But when we heal emotionally, we begin to reclaim our power. We can break free from negative patterns, cultivate self-love, and build healthier relationships. Healing allows us to become whole again, embracing life with an open heart and mind. The importance of emotional healing is further emphasized by the teachings in the Quran, which reminds us that Allah is always there to help those who seek healing and peace. Tilawat, Quranic recitation. Inna Allah ma'alladhina taqaw walladhina hum muhsinun. Indeed, Allah is with those who fear Him and those who are doers of good. Allah's guidance, we can heal and find peace in our hearts. Healing is a journey, not a destination. It's not a quick fix or an easy process. But the good news is that healing is possible for everyone. It requires intention, patience, and a willingness to face the difficult emotions that may have been buried for so long. There are several key steps involved in emotional healing. Recognizing the pain. The first step in healing is acknowledging that we are hurting. Many people avoid or deny their emotional pain, believing that they can move on without addressing it. But this only prolongs the suffering. Healing starts with acceptance, allowing ourselves to feel the pain without judgment. Self-compassion. We often think that to heal we need to be perfect, or that we should have gotten over something by now. But self-compassion is the foundation of healing. You must show yourself kindness and understanding, just as you would show a friend going through a tough time. Forgiveness, as we discussed in day 2, forgiveness is a powerful tool in the healing process. Forgiving others, and most importantly, forgiving ourselves, is crucial. Holding on to anger, bitterness, or regret only keeps us anchored to the past. Forgiveness helps us release these emotional shackles. Letting go. Emotional healing requires us to let go of what no longer serves us. This doesn't mean forgetting, it means releasing the emotional weight we've carried. Letting go of past hurts gives us the freedom to move forward with a clean slate. Releasing negative beliefs. Often our emotional wounds create negative beliefs about ourselves, such as feelings of inadequacy, unworthiness, or fear. Healing involves changing these negative beliefs and replacing them with empowering thoughts that support our emotional well-being. Self-love and acceptance. Healing is a journey of self-love. It involves developing a healthy relationship with yourself, accepting your flaws, and nurturing your growth. When we love ourselves, we allow healing to take place naturally. Seeking help. There is no shame in seeking help when needed. Professional support, whether through counseling, therapy, or talking to a trusted friend, can be incredibly valuable. Healing does not mean doing it alone. Reaching out for support is a sign of strength, not weakness. Emotional healing is an essential part of living a fulfilled and peaceful life. Without healing, we continue to carry the emotional baggage from our past, which hinders our ability to grow and thrive. But with healing, we free ourselves from these burdens, allowing space for joy, love, and emotional freedom. Healing takes time, and it's a process that requires patience, persistence, and faith. But most importantly, healing is a choice. It's a decision to let go of what no longer serves us and to embrace a life filled with peace, love, and self-compassion. Remember, you are worthy of healing. You deserve to live a life free from emotional pain, and with each step you take toward healing, you are becoming the person you were always meant to be, whole, at peace, and emotionally free. Let's take another moment to reflect on this with a final Quranic recitation. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. For indeed with hardship will be ease. Indeed, with hardship will be ease. This verse reminds us that after hardship comes ease, and no matter how difficult the healing process may seem, ease will follow. Trust in the journey, and trust that healing is within your reach. This main discussion script offers a comprehensive explanation of emotional healing, with spiritual insights from the Quran and actionable steps that viewers can take to begin their healing process. It creates a calm, reflective tone while emphasizing the importance of patience and self-compassion. Now that we've explored the concept of emotional healing and why it's so important, I want to share a story with you, a story of someone just like you, someone who faced emotional pain but chose to heal. This story illustrates the transformative power of emotional healing and how it can change your life. This is the story of Amina, a young woman who struggled with emotional pain but over time found her way to healing. Amina was an ambitious young woman full of dreams and aspirations. She had always been the life of the party, a bright light that everyone loved to be around. But beneath her cheerful exterior, Amina carried a lot of emotional pain that no one knew about. She grew up in a family where love was not freely given, and emotional expression was often seen as a weakness. Amina's parents, though well-meaning, were always too busy or distant to really listen to her. As a result, Amina learned to bottle up her emotions, hiding her true feelings, even when she was hurt. Things changed when she entered her first serious relationship. In the beginning, everything seemed perfect. She felt loved and validated in a way she had never experienced before. But over time, cracks began to form in the relationship. There were moments of emotional neglect, misunderstandings, and arguments. It wasn't long before the relationship ended, leaving Amina heartbroken. For months, Amina couldn't get past the pain. She blamed herself for the breakup, questioning her worth and whether she was deserving of love. The emotional wounds from her childhood combined with the heartbreak from the failed relationship left her feeling isolated and broken. Amina struggled with anxiety, self-doubt, and sadness. She would find herself replaying the moments from her past, wondering what went wrong. Her confidence was shattered and she felt like she had no one to turn to. But one day, while reflecting on her life, Amina realized something important. She couldn't keep living like this. She couldn't continue carrying the emotional weight of her past. And so she decided to take action. She reached out to a therapist for help. For the first time in her life, she allowed herself to speak openly about her feelings and the pain she had been hiding for so long. The process was not easy, but with each session, Amina began to peel back the layers of emotional hurt she had carried for years. Through therapy, Amina learned the importance of self-compassion. She began to understand that she didn't have to be perfect, and it was okay to feel vulnerable. She realized that forgiving herself for past mistakes was essential to her healing. But perhaps the most important lesson Amina learned was about letting go. She had spent so much time holding on to the past, blaming herself, holding grudges against others, and feeling like she wasn't enough. But through her healing journey, she realized that letting go was the key to moving forward. She chose to forgive not just others, but herself. Amina's journey wasn't without setbacks. There were days when she felt overwhelmed and healing seemed impossible, but through it all, she remained committed to the process. She surrounded herself with supportive people, practiced self-care, and started to focus on things that brought her joy, like painting, traveling, and spending time with friends who lifted Allah. Over time, Amina began to feel lighter. She stopped seeking validation from others and started to value herself. She rediscovered her passions and began living her life with purpose, free from the emotional chains that once held her back. Today, Amina is a strong, confident woman who no longer lets her past define her. She is grateful for her journey because it taught her that emotional healing is possible, no matter how deep the wounds. Amina's story is a powerful reminder that no matter how heavy the emotional burden may feel, healing is possible. Like Amina, we all face emotional pain in life, but we don't have to let it control us. Healing comes when we choose to face our emotions, acknowledge our wounds, and allow ourselves the grace to heal. Amina's journey teaches us that healing takes time, it takes patience, and it requires us to let go of the things that no longer serve us. It's a process of self-acceptance, forgiveness, and self-love. We are all capable of overcoming the emotional challenges we face, and with each step we take toward healing, we grow stronger. No matter what you've been through, know that you have the power to heal. It may not be easy, but it is absolutely worth it. And just like Amina, you too can find peace, joy, and emotional freedom. Now that you've heard Amina's story, I want you to take a moment to reflect on your own journey. Are there wounds that you've been carrying, just like Amina? How has that pain shaped your life? And what steps can you take to begin your own healing process? Let's take this opportunity to reflect, and I'll guide you through an activity that will help you start your journey toward healing. This storytelling section brings the abstract concept of emotional healing into a personal and relatable context. It provides a story that mirrors many of the challenges viewers may face and offers hope that healing is possible. The transition to reflection and activity allows viewers to engage with their own emotions and take action. Let me know if you need further adjustments or would like to proceed with the reflection and activity section. Ask ChatGPT. Now that you've heard Amina's story, I want you to take a moment to reflect on your own emotional journey. Amina's healing process may have been challenging, but it shows us that healing is possible no matter how deep the wounds. Healing is possible. The transition to reflection and activity allows viewers to engage with their own emotions and take action. Now that you've heard Amina's story, I want you to take a moment to reflect on your own emotional journey. Amina's healing process may have been challenging, but it shows us that healing is possible, no matter how deep the wounds. I encourage you to think about your own emotional wounds. Is there pain that you've been carrying for a long time? Are there pain that you've been carrying for a long time? Are there moments or relationships from your past that have left scars on your heart? Acknowledge them now and give yourself permission to begin the healing process. Healing is not about erasing the past. It's about allowing yourself to feel, release, and move forward with peace. Let's begin with a deep breath. Inhale deeply, hold for a moment, and exhale slowly. Allow your body to relax as you become present in this moment. I want you to think about the emotional wounds you've experienced. These could be from childhood, past relationships, a loss, or anything else that has caused you pain. These wounds may be fresh, or they may have been buried for years. It's okay if they feel difficult to face. This is a safe space. Now ask yourself these questions, and I invite you to answer them in your mind or write them down in your journal if you feel comfortable. What are the emotional wounds I've been carrying? How have these wounds affected my life, my relationships, and my emotional well-being? How do I feel when I think about these wounds? Anger, sadness, regret, fear, or something else? Allow yourself to sit with these emotions for a moment. It's important not to rush this process. Take your time. Acknowledge what comes up and allow yourself to feel those awesome emotions fully. Healing begins when we stop avoiding our pain and instead embrace it with the intention to heal. Now that you've reflected on your emotional wounds, I want to guide you through a journaling exercise that will help you begin the process of healing. If you have a journal nearby, I encourage you to open it now. If you don't, you can simply grab a piece of paper or use a notes app on your phone. I'm going to give you a few prompts to help you dive deeper into this healing process. Write down one or more emotional wounds that you've been carrying. It could be a painful memory, something you regret, or something that still hurts you. Let the words flow without judgment. Ask yourself this question: what do I need to let go of in order to heal? Write down your thoughts. It could be anger, fear, guilt, shame, or resentment. What has this pain been preventing you from experiencing in your life? Write a letter to yourself. In this letter, offer yourself the forgiveness and compassion that you may have never received from others or from yourself. In the letter say, La yasura prendis ars, I forgive you for the pain you've carried. I release you from guilt and shame. You are worthy of peace and emotional freedom. This letter is for you. You don't have to share it with anyone. It's a personal act of self-compassion and forgiveness. By writing it down, you begin to release the emotional weight that has been holding you back. Take another deep breath as you finish your journaling. Inhale deeply and exhale slowly. Know that what you've just done is an important first step in your emotional healing journey. You've acknowledged your wounds, given yourself permission to feel, and taken action to begin the process of release and healing. Remember, healing is a journey, and it's okay to take it one step at a time. Be patient with yourself and trust that with every reflection and every small step, you are moving closer to emotional freedom and peace. This reflection and activity section is designed to give your audience an actionable tool to begin their emotional healing process. By guiding them through self-reflection and a journaling exercise, you help them process their emotions and take the first steps toward releasing their emotional wounds.